Alright, welcome back to episode 6 of Crowdfunding Video Games in 2024. We are still on physical stuff and we are talking about SKUs. And that means store keeping units. These have to be set up correctly in pre-production. So before your campaign goes live, you want your items to be set up correctly from the get-go, so that you want to think about the later stages in your project, because what happens is that you have your Kickstarter campaign on one side, and then you go into post-campaign where you can offer so-called pre-orders or add-ons after your campaign has ended, in backer kit, for example. And the problem is that it's a little bit complicated, but when you're creating your products in the Kickstarter campaign, right, you are importing those SKUs or SKUs into a backer kit. And let's say that you made without thinking properly about this before you kind of made your campaign go live, you said that certain Kickstarter tiers get like this special edition of your game. Well, that needs to be identified as its own SKU. So you don't want to mix these things together, is what I'm saying. I think it's easy to do it correctly as long as you kind of understand this. But when you're setting up pre-order items in backer kit, you don't want to use the same SKU, I think. Basically, what I would do is to get a little bit of advice from somebody who is a little bit more warm with managing physical items in a store, and get some advice on how to understand this. You can also ask backer kit, for example, to support you, so they can kind of help you set up these things correctly when importing the SKUs from the Kickstarter or crowdfunding campaign into the fulfillment service. The problem that this made for me was that I kind of reused a SKU in my project for a physical copy for a Nintendo Switch game, but then it wasn't clear which orders or pledges came from Kickstarter and which came from a pre-order. This made everything a lot harder to deal with in the fulfillment side of things, because we had some special stuff set up where, you know, Kickstarter backers would get like a collector's edition. And the problem is that, you know, first of all, it makes the job harder to deal with. We kind of had to work around a problem when doing the paperwork that is going to fulfillment house. And that means more labor time and delays that are affecting your backers as well, which is all bad. Like, it just costs more money and things get delayed because they kind of have to work through a problem, which makes it harder on their end to kind of make the parcels be packaged correctly. So that is why I'm saying that the SKUs are important to set up correctly. You don't want Kickstarter rewards and pre-orders in your post-campaign stage to kind of conflict with each other. You should know clearly where each, from what stage you might say each pledge is coming from. So generally be mindful about SKUs if you're doing unique rewards. Let's say a reward that is only available when pledged through Kickstarter. Yeah, so just be mindful of this stuff. Let's see, next point A. Pre-orders and add-ons in post-campaign stage. Yeah. Pre-orders. Pre-orders is a thing that you can do, and it is recommended to do so. This is in the post-campaign stage, so after your Kickstarter campaign. Like what I would recommend is that you use something called BackerKit, and you import everything into BackerKit, and then what you do there is that you set up what's called a pre-order store. So there is a shop there in a way where people can, like, first of all, your backers can add an item to their already existing pledge made through Kickstarter as an add-on in BackerKit. Let's say somebody wants an extra Nintendo Switch copy as a gift. You can set that up. You can also do pre-orders, meaning, let's say there are people that missed your Kickstarter campaigns or are not actually Kickstarter backers. They can still, you might give them a good deal or something on pre-order through BackerKit. Some things to keep in mind there. You need to be aware of the concepts of a Kickstarter backer and a pre-order backer. Kickstarter backers are people that definitely pledge to your campaign during Kickstarter or on any crowdfunding platform. While pre-order backers, they're still called that, you see, and they get into kind of like your same data management system, but they are pre-order backers. This is just something to kind of know about, because it matters when you're communicated to your backers, and if you need to check things and such. Pre-orders. When you're doing pre-orders, because what I just said, the pre-order backers are not Kickstarter backers. That means that they are not getting Kickstarter updates in their email. When you are writing a Kickstarter update on Kickstarter, the pre-order backers aren't receiving that. So what that means is that you need to communicate so that it reaches your pre-order backers as well. Most likely this will be done through something like Discord. Like ideally you have like a hub, like a community hub where like you tell all your people, go to our Discord, and that's where you get answers and news and everything. And you would tell your pre-order backers that as well, because they aren't following your Kickstarter updates. Okay? So it does add an extra communication layer to do this stuff. Another thing, that this is a red flag, because it is sort of weird. When you are setting up your pre-orders and add-ons in BackerKit, this is post-campaign stage. You have to set a price to those items, but you also need to set like a shipping fee to those items. And you should do it at that point in time, because I don't even know if it's possible to have a pre-order backer kind of pledge towards having a pre-ordered Nintendo Switch version, but they'll pay for shipping later. I don't even know if that works. So this is one of those problem points where it's like, well, let's say you don't even know your shipping cost yet. You don't know. At this point in time, when you're setting up like the pre-order items in BackerKit, you go like, well, I don't know what's that gonna cost, right? And this is really awkward, because in earlier videos I sort of recommended that, you know, if you're gathering shipping costs from your backers way later, way after the campaign has ended, kind of like when you're close to fulfilling, when you're shipping out, then you're collecting the shipping fee. Well, this might be off, and it can be by quite a margin. So this is sort of like an issue when you're setting up pre-order items, including shipping and kind of like the associated costs with shipping and fulfillment. What is my recommendation there? What would I do differently? Like what I did when I set up pre-orders was that we had a price quote at that time, kinda. An earlier price quote. And I applied that with a little bit of padding. But I did miss it by a little bit. Like we went into, as in a negative miss, as in we they got their shipping, let's say $1 and $1.50 too cheaply, actually, because of kind of like I set up the pre-orders just very shortly after our Kickstarter campaign ended, but then there's like 3 years of time between that, and you know, those sort of costs all add up. But we didn't have like a massive amount of pre-orders, but still it's like, yeah, all of these costs sort of add up, so just be careful there and know about it. Okay. Ooh, shipping. Right, so shipping. First of all, you'll need most likely a vendor. You can ship yourself. You can get like pallets of stuff shipped to you, and then you sit and box everything up. And there is a system in BackerKit for trying to do self-shipping, but of course that can be a crazy job, and probably not worth it, most likely. In our case, we had like manufacture from the US, and most of our backers were in the US, so it would make sense to ship from the US, because then it's domestical for most people, and that means that there's a lower shipping fee for most people, but it does affect the international backers negatively. There are different shipping vendors that are kind of working together with BackerKit to have kind of like some sort of integration systems. So you can either go through like a shipping vendor like that, or you have some other solution for how to do this. There are things like easy ship, for example, stuff like that. Yeah, I talked about fulfillment cost plus shipping cost. So that means is that there are costs on both ends of this. Just remember that, so that you are aware, and you know what questions to ask when you're getting price quotes from vendors. What is the total cost of fulfillment and shipping? Shipping cost, who pays? I think we talked a little bit about this already, but what I would recommend is to have like backers paying for their shipping fee is fair, and people expect that kind of often. I think it is just a fair part of this sort of flow. But you do need to make that decision and be kind of aware of what you're doing. How to pay for shipping fee? Yeah, that is, by the way, something. There's a few things that I have not mentioned there when how to pay. Let's say you're doing the solution where they are indeed paying for their shipping fee later when you're close to fulfilling. They would do that through BackerKit or similar service, where you tell everyone, hey, people need to go into BackerKit and pay for their shipping fee. Well, it is kind of unpractical, and there are some issues with it. First of all, the backer, then you need to actually apply a shipping cost, including fulfillment cost, to their basically the SKUs for all physical items that are going out. You have to apply that in BackerKit, and then all of the backers that are receiving a physical item will have like a negative balance, where they are in fact kind of owing a money, like for how much money it costs to ship. And then they'll need to enter a credit card in BackerKit, like they register a credit card, and then there's a bulk action where you actually charge these cards, and then it'll be applied. I hope that there will be some better solutions in the future for how to do this, because it seems to me like it's such a common operation. Like the creators of crowdfunding campaigns desire this because the shipping is so volatile in terms of costs and such, that they want to risk minimize. So I hope that things like BackerKit might produce a better solution for this in the future. But that is at least a way that it is done. Yeah, taxes and VAT. You should probably get expert help on that if you're doing international shipping. Yeah, costs are volatile. What that means is that shipping costs can increase or decrease wildly, and things happening in the real world affect it a lot. When there were a crisis down in in the Panama Canal and the Suez Canal at the same time, basically, the shipping prices doubled, bang, and that's where you need your risk funds if you're directly affected or you delay, you don't ship with those prices, or you find some other solution, right? If you're doing international, it depends. But your fulfillment center can probably help you with things like that. I would consider only shipping to certain regions, because international shipping, well, it's risky, it's very, very costly to everyone involved, basically. Yeah, you need to assess your project and think about how much it is worth to include certain regions in your shipping before the campaign, so basically in pre-production. Okay, I feel like we have a really long video here because this stuff is complex, man. It's a lot. I hope that these videos will help at least. I don't feel like I'm answering like everything perfectly, because it's just it's a bit too complex, but at least you'll get like handles on where to, like, worrying points, right? What should I try to focus on when, you know, talking to partners that you want to work with and such. Alright, I'll see you in the next.